What's up, everybody? It's JT Sports and back you guys with another video. This video, I'm here with my Buffalo Bills 7 round 2020 mock drafts. Now, for the Buffalo Bills, this is a team that's coming off of a playoff appearance, a very impressive season. If you're been subscribed to my channel for a while now, you will know that I'm very high on the Buffalo Bills. And they traded for a wide receiver, Stephon Diggs. So that fills their need of a true number one wide receiver. They got Diggs. Now all they need, they probably could use another wide receiver for some depth. Then on the defensive side of the ball, they need some pass rushers. They need edge. They could use another cornerback as well. So for the Buffalo Bills, their biggest needs basically are edge rusher. Basically, that's probably their biggest need that they have. And there's also been a lot of rumors circulating that the Buffalo Bills are looking to add another halfback to their group. I guess they want a 1-2 punch with Devin Singletary, and they want another guy to bring in there as well. So I'm really interested to see what the Buffalo Bills do going into the 2020 season and the NFL draft. So with their first selection, they don't have a first round pick because they traded that to the Minnesota Vikings for Stephon Diggs. I have them selecting edge rusher Jonathan Greenard out of University of Florida. Now, Jonathan Greenard is a guy who is really underrated. This is a guy who could end up going late first round, and a lot of people aren't really talking about that, but he's probably the most underrated edge rusher in this draft class. This is a guy who had 15 and a half 15 and a half tackles for loss and had 9.5 sacks. Now, this guy was a graduate transfer from the University of Louisville. He transferred to Florida in 2019 from Louisville, and he was the biggest non-quarterback transfer pretty much in college football last season. So for him, I think him and Buffalo be a pretty good fit. Now, I think this is a guy who could come in and have a lot of production right away for the Buffalo Bills. I think he fits well into their system. He has pretty good size, pretty good length, and this is a guy who I think right off the bat could come in and have 7, 8 sacks for the Buffalo Bills. And for the Buffalo Bills, what you're getting out of Jonathan Greenard, you're getting a guy who can give you good production, good pass rusher, which is something that the Buffalo Bills have been lacking the last couple of seasons, a dominant one-on-one pass rusher. So Jonathan Greenard is a guy who can come in right away and be a dominant one-on-one pass rusher that the Buffalo Bills have been looking for a while now. Now, with the second round selection, I have them selecting halfback. Well, third round selection, excuse me, their second pick of the draft. I have them selecting halfback out of Utah, ZACK Moss. Now, ZACK Moss, the reason why I think he'll end up going to Buffalo or why I think he's a good fit in Buffalo is for the fact that I think Buffalo wants to add another halfback to pair up with Devin Singletary so they can have a 1-2 punch or a combo there. Now, they were interested in a couple of halfbacks. I've been seeing rumors about that. And there's also a couple of rumors how they may take a halfback in the mid rounds of the NFL draft. And I think Zach Moss would be a really good fit. Now, Devin Singletary is kind of like an all around back. He's like a Swift Army Knight. This is a guy who's really elusive, really hard to bring down the open field. Then you bring in Zach Moss, who is a powerful runner. This guy isn't a guy who's going to like break a lot of tackles in the open field when it comes to juke moves and spin moves and things like that. This guy's going to put his head down, to put his helmet down, put his shoulder pads down. He is going to run you flat over. And he was really productive during his time for Utah. This is one of my favorite halfback prospects in this year's draft. I love the way he plays. And he also has a very high motor as well. This guy is really hard to bring down on initial contact. He reminds me a lot of Mark Ingram. So for the Buffalo Bills drafting Zach Moss there, they have their 1-2 punch at the halfback position for the next few years. Now, the fourth round selection, I have them selecting off the tackle Matt Peart out of UConn University. Now, Matt Peart is a guy who could play off the tackle and off the guard as well. It just depends what the Buffalo Bills want to use him at. Now, for the Buffalo Bills, I do have a little bit of a question when it comes to the offensive line. I do think that they would like to upgrade their offensive line a little bit. Their offensive line wasn't bad, but I mean, it's a couple of offensive linemen, a couple of starts that they had last year that I think could be replaceable. So you bring in Matt Peart out of UConn. This is a guy who a lot of people like to call a swing tackle because he's really athletic in the open field and he can play guard and he can play tackle as well. So this is a guy who could come in for Buffalo. He could compete for one of the starting offensive lineman spots. And I mean, the good thing for him is that he's not just looked at as an offensive tackle. This is a guy who can play guard and he can play tackle as well. So for the Buffalo Bills, you can just bring him in, let him compete in the preseason and training camp, and then see if he's good enough to be the starter on the offensive line for the Buffalo Bills, which I think he is. I think he will be an upgrade over a couple of guys who they have in that offensive line. The offensive line for Buffalo wasn't bad. I mean, the guys who they have in the offensive line could be replaceable in today's NFL. Nobody's job is safe. you can get outplayed and you can get your job took any day of the week. So I think Matt Peart will be a really good pickup for the Buffalo Bills, and that improves that offensive line, which wasn't really that bad at all. It was pretty solid. So with their fifth round selection, I have them selecting cornerback Reggie Robinson out of Tulsa University. Now, Reggie Robinson is a cornerback who has a lot of potential, a lot of upside, and this is a guy who I think is really good with the Buffalo Bills. And for the fact that I think he would be a really good slot cornerback in the NFL. He has good length, he has good athleticism, has good ball, has good instincts to the ball, good awareness and things like that. So I think for the Buffalo Bills, they brought in Josh Norman. I don't really know what role he's going to have in the Buffalo Bills defense, but you can bring in a guy like Reggie Robinson, and you can bring him in. Maybe he could end up potentially being an outside cornerback for the Buffalo Bills, or maybe he could just be a good slot cornerback for the Buffalo Bills. But I think the Buffalo Bills are looking to bring in another cornerback, and I think Reggie Robinson could provide some good depth early on in his career. Then maybe he could move up to a slot cornerback. Then potentially he could end up being an outside cornerback. So for the Buffalo Bills, I think for right now, Reggie Robinson would be a good cornerback when it comes to depth, adding depth in their cornerback room, and then he could potentially be groomed into a solid starting cornerback. Maybe he's a nickel cornerback, or maybe he could be a true cornerback or outside. So for their sixth round selection. Tight end Kobe Parkinson out of Stanford is really interesting to me because this is a guy who has very good length. This guy is 6'7". 6'7". I'm not making that up. He's like 6'7". I think he may look a little bit taller than that. When I was watching him play on Stanford on TV a couple of times, I thought this guy was like almost 7 foot. So this guy's really tall and really athletic. So he'll be a really good deep threat or a good vertical target or a good red zone target for Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. Now, I know they already have Knox, but the thing with Knox is that Knox is really inconsistent. So I think Buffalo really wouldn't miss out on anything if they end up drafting another tight end. Then they could run two tight end sets, which will make their offense a lot more better because then you can have two tight ends on the field. And you have Stephon Diggs on the outside as well. So I think if they draft Parkinson, I think this would be a really good pickup. And I'm not saying that Knox is bad or anything, but I just think that Knox has been a really bit inconsistent. And I was really expecting a lot out of Knox coming into the 2019 NFL season. I was expecting him to have a really breakout season. He didn't really live up to those expectations. He was just really inconsistent, really. So I think the Buffalo Bills could use another tight end to bring in to the into the locker room. And like I said, Kobe Parkinson would be a very good fit for the Buffalo Bills because Josh Allen has one of the strongest arms in the NFL. He can throw the ball with basically anybody. And this guy, Kobe Parkinson, would be a really good deep threat and a really good red zone threat in the red zone because he's 6'7". 6'7" with a very long wingspan. So, I mean, this guy can catch a lot of 50-50 balls, and I don't think a lot of safeties and a lot of linebackers are going to be able to cover this guy in one-on-one man-to-man coverage. So, I mean, most of the time, all Josh Allen has to do is throw the ball up to this guy, and I'm pretty confident 50-50 of the time he's going to end up catching those 50-50 balls against those linebackers and those safeties because you don't really see guys this tall and this athletic in today's NFL at that tight end position. Most of the time you see guys who are kind of like undersized. They're like 6'4", run very fast 40 times and things like that. So you don't really see a lot of 6'7" tight ends that are this good in the NFL when it comes to their ability to catch those deep vertical 50-50 balls and those good balls inside the red zone. So I think Kobe Parkinson will be a really good pickup for the Buffalo Bills. Now, with their second, sixth round pick, I have them selecting the wide receiver Van Jefferson out of the University of Florida. Now, the thing with Van Jefferson is that this guy has really good size. I think he's like either 6'2" or 6'3". And for the Buffalo Bills, I know they got Stephon Diggs, but they probably could use another wide receiver. You got John Brown, you got Cole Beasley, who are a little bit up there in age. So, especially Cole Beasley, I think Cole Beasley could end up retiring in a season or two. So, I mean, you need to get a little bit younger when it comes to receiving position, although they do have a other couple of young wide receivers on their roster. But I think bringing in Van Jefferson, he'll bring in some more depth to that wide receiver position, bring in some more competition. And the thing with him is that this guy could end up being another good deep threat for Josh Allen as well. I mean, this guy has a pretty good wingspan. He's like 6'2" or 6'3". He has good speed. He has good playmaking ability as well, especially when he gets the ball in his hands in the open field. So, I mean, if you're the Buffalo Bills, I don't think it will hurt you to draft another wide receiver to bring in some more competition to our wide receiving room. So for the Buffalo Bills, I mean, their last pick, I think they should take offensive lineman Cameron Clark out of Charleston or Charlotte, excuse me, Charlotte University. Now, this guy was one of the best offensive linemen for Charlotte. He was like an offensive captain for 2 seasons. He is a 3-year starter for Charlotte. And I mean, he was one of the best offensive linemen in that conference that he played in. So for the Buffalo Bills, you bring him in, and I have him listed as an offensive lineman for the fact that he can also play other 2 positions. He can play tackle, he can play guard as well. So for the Buffalo Bills, you bring this guy in, maybe he can end up getting a roster spot. If he makes the roster, he could end up being a good depth player for the Buffalo Bills in case they have an injury on the offensive line. So let me know what you guys think about this mock draft for the Buffalo Bills down in the comment section down below. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel for more NFL videos and content, and thanks for watching.